welcome to Elizabeth Reads. Today we have Girl in Real Life by Tamsin Winter. We are on chapter 9, Karis. My first period lasted a total of 3.5 days, but even when it was over, there was no way I could forget about it, because by Wednesday morning, Mom's video had been viewed over 1 million times. And today it was going to be played on TV. The most humiliating video they'd ever made about me was the one to go viral. I'd even have preferred it to be the one with the swimsuit wedgie. I slammed the front door behind me as I left for school, even though Mum and Dad had left for London ages ago. It was only half an hour to Paddington, but they had to be at the TV studio really early for some reason, so they'd taken the first train. I'd thought about staying at home, but they said they'd be back by lunchtime. School would probably call them if I didn't show up anyway. Their interview would be around 9:30 a.m. when I was supposed to be doing PE. They'd said I should watch it on the Good Morning website at break or lunch, only there was no way I was going to miss watching it live. My phone beeped with a message from Mum. It was a selfie of her and Dad at the TV studio. There was a giant sign saying good morning behind them. They were both grinning into the camera like they didn't even care how much pain I was in. "We love you," it said. I tapped the message so she'd know I'd read it, then locked my phone without replying. My nose was blocked up, my eyes stung in the wind. I don't know exactly how many times I'd begged them not to go. It was a lot. But it didn't make any difference. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for All About Eva. It could put us up there with the Carter Youngs and 2 Against 4. It's our chance to put the brand out there. You've got to look at the bigger picture, Eva. How could we say no? You'll understand one day. Only I didn't care about one day, I cared about today, when I had to share a classroom with Alfie Stevens. Spud was sitting on the low wall at the bottom of his garden waiting for me. He usually came bounding into the house. Maybe he'd heard me slam the front door. I hope not. "You okay?" he asked. "Can't get any worse, right?" I smiled, which for some reason made me want to cry again. "Did you know," Spud said, jumping up next to me, "the average woman will have her period for 38 years. By then, you'll probably feel better about this." "I doubt it," I said. "But someone like Alfie Stevens in 38 years, Spud carried on, he'll still be a grade A idiot. Even if Alfie was immortal, he'd still be an idiot. He'd just carry on being an idiot forever." I don't know what it is about Spud, but sometimes all the dumb stuff he says is exactly the kind of stuff you need to hear. Not very often, but sometimes. He told me pointless facts, like an octopus has its mouth in its armpit, and wombats have cube-shaped poo, all the way up the hill until I laughed. I'm not sure if they were even true, but Spud made me feel slightly better about being human that day. It's probably one of the nicest things he's done. And once he built a catapult in his garden that could, if you stood in exactly the right spot, fire marshmallows right into your mouth. When I walked into form with Hallie and Gabby, Alfie and his friends immediately burst out laughing. I got used to the sound of people laughing at me over the past 2 days. In the corridors, in the canteen, in lessons, even when it was silent, I could still hear it inside my head. I was about to sit down when Hallie nudged me. "Look." There was something stuck on the cool wall underneath my name. A sanitary pad with red felt tips scribbled on it. My stomach flipped. As I walked over to the cool wall, I heard Gabby laugh. I looked at her and she turned it into a cough. "Oh, very mature, whoever did that," Hallie said as I pulled down the sanitary pad. Little bits of pad got stuck underneath the staples. Whoever it was must have gone overboard with Miss Wilson's staple gun. "I know it was you, Alfie." I said it like I didn't care. But if anyone looked closely, they'd have seen my hands were kind of trembling. "It wasn't," Alfie said, laughing. "Anyway, what you gonna do? Dust it for prints?" "Alfie," Hallie said, "just because you are an idiot doesn't mean you have to act like one every day." A slow ooh erupted from Alfie and his friends. "Come on, Eva," Hallie said. "Let's get Miss Wilson." "Really, Hals?" Gabby said, sitting down. "Can't we just ignore them?" I didn't exactly want to show Miss Wilson the sanitary pad, but I expected Hallie to march out of the classroom anyway. I mean, she was on the student council, but she sat down. Hallie's eyes went from mine to Gabby's, and then she said, "Yeah, probably best to ignore them." She smiled at me, then gave Alfie and his friends evils. Just then, Miss Wilson walked in chirping, "Morning, everyone!" Her hair was tied up in a bandana the color of a sunset. I crumpled the sanitary pad into my blazer pocket. A girl with short dark hair and black rimmed glasses hovered by the classroom door, chewing her bottom lip. "Come in, Karis." Miss Wilson beckoned her inside. Her fingernails were bitten down really far. My mom would never let me do that. Everyone, this is Karis Belfield. She's just moved to Hope Park Academy, and Mr. Andrews has chosen to put her in our form because he knows we're such a friendly bunch. I do not know where Mr. Andrews got that information. Now, Karis, meet Hallie, our fantastic form captain. Hallie stood up and beamed. Karis, Miss Wilson said, grab a seat on Hallie's table and she'll show you around the school properly at lunchtime. Oh, Hallie said, sorry, I can't, miss. I've got gym practice. I have the finals coming up and Mrs. Marshall said I could use a sports hall. Okay, Miss Wilson said, smiling around the room. Who else would like to volunteer? There was an awkward silence. I looked around the classroom. Was no one going to put their hand up? Karis chewed her nails like she wanted the paint-stained floor to swallow her up. I knew that feeling pretty well. I'll do it, I said, putting my arm in the air. Everyone burst out laughing. That's when I realized the sanitary pad was attached to the bottom of my sleeve. I shoved it back in my pocket, feeling my cheeks blaze red. Karis's eyes flicked sympathetically to me. Great, thank you, Eva, Miss Wilson said. Take a seat, Karis. I'm sure Eva will do a wonderful job of showing you around, and everyone in 8W will make you feel very welcome. Thanks, Karis whispered as I swapped seats with Gabby so she was next to Hallie and Karis could sit next to me. Nothing like a completely embarrassing experience to start a new school. Don't worry, I whispered. I know everything there is to know about embarrassing experiences. Later that morning, I was supposed to be in PE like everyone else in my class, but when your parents are about to go on TV, hitting shuttlecocks over a badminton net seems even more pointless than usual. So while everyone else got changed, I sat with my feet up in one of the toilet cubicles. I didn't expect anyone to notice. It's not like I'm good at sports or anything, and Mrs. Marshall never takes a register when we play inside. Still, my heart was pounding as I heard everyone leave. I waited a full 5 minutes before I dared move. The cubicle door creaked as I opened it. The changing rooms were weirdly silent. I crept into the corner, moved a few coats and bags so I could sit down, then leaned against the wall and took out my phone. Mom had put the selfie she'd sent me on her Instagram stories. So excited, getting ready for good morning, who's watching? I groaned and heard it echo back at me around the room. My parents being on TV would make the channel 10 times more popular, and my life at school would get 10 times worse. Suddenly, I heard, Eva, are you okay? I jumped and wiped away the tear that had just slid down my face. Karis? She was still in her uniform. Was she skipping PE on her first day? I'd been here since the start of year 7 and I'd never dared to do it before, even when they made us do cross country in practically a blizzard. I don't have any kit yet, Karis said. Miss Thingy told me to sit on the bench and watch, but I saw you weren't there and thought I'd check if you're okay. She walked past the rows of bags and coats and sat on the bench opposite me. Have you been crying? I wiped my eyes again. I'm okay. Only as soon as I said that, another tear escaped. Hey, what's the matter? Karis moved to sit beside me. If it's that sanitary pad thing in form, honestly, don't worry about it. Once at my old school, I chewed a fountain pen and it exploded in my mouth. I let out a laugh. It wouldn't wash off properly, so literally the whole day I looked like an ink-sucking vampire. Is that why you moved here? Ha, Karis smiled. I wish. So, what's up? A message from Mom appeared on my phone. Please don't be upset with us, Eva. It's exciting. We love you, sweetie. I swiped it away and swallowed the lump in my throat. Any minute now, my parents will be on Good Morning. Oh, wow, Karis said. That is definitely a reason to skip badminton. To talk about me starting my period. Karis's eyes widened and her glasses slipped down her nose. What? Yeah, I said. They have a YouTube channel and my mom posted this video about it and it's gone viral. Now my mom and dad are getting interviewed on TV and talking about it in front of the entire world. I don't normally skip PE. It's just I want to see it before anyone else at school does. Karis pushed her glasses back up and scraped her fringe sideways. Sorry, Eva. I don't mean to be rude, but I would be so mad if my parents were doing that. I mean, don't you mind? Yeah, I do, I said. I kind of begged them not to go on TV, actually, but... I let my words slide away into silence. Karis licked her fingers and flattened down the bits of fringe that were sticking up. That's really bad, Eva, she said. Shall we just stay in here forever? Then she wrinkled her nose. The only problem is a slight smell of armpits. I smiled. I'd only known Karis for a couple of hours, but she seemed to just get it. She was the first person in forever to ask me if I minded this stuff, and the whole story of All About Eva came tumbling out. The non-stop filming, They're for Eva subscribers, the summer of challenge videos, that stupid avocado costume, the never-ending scroll of comments and replies, the fake smiles, the teasing from Alfie, the comments in corridors, the dread anytime a notification came up on my phone, the feeling that I was sinking into quicksand. Whoa, Karis said quietly after I'd finished. I can understand why you're upset. I blew my nose on some loo roll. I think they're on after this ad break. In that case, Karis said, pulling an iPad out of her bag, I think we need a bigger screen. Karis, I said, you're not to bring those to school. Oh, she said, smiling. Do the teachers check your bags here? I don't think so. Karis swiped the screen. Its reflection glowed in her glasses. Exactly. She fished around in her pockets and handed me an AirPod. Now, do you know the code for the Wi-Fi or should I guess it? And that was it. The moment me and Karis became friends, sitting next to each other in an echoey changing room, sharing AirPods and half a packet of pineapple chewits she'd found in her pocket. Together, we watched my parents smile and laugh and talk about being part of the period warrior movement on TV. Throughout the entire interview, Karis held one hand over her mouth in shock and squeezed my hand with the other. And for the first time in ages, I felt like someone was on my side of the screen. That's the end of chapter 9. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.